Jezekiel, chapter 38 through chapter 40, verse 23. And the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, Rose, prince of Mesach and Thobal, and prophesy against him, and say to him, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I am against thee, Rose, prince of Mesach and Thobal, and I will gather thee, and all thine host, horses and horsemen, all wearing breastplates, with a great multitude, shields and helmets and swords, Persians and Ethiopians and Libyans, all with helmets and shields, Gomer, and all belonging to him, the house of Thorgama, from the end of the north, and all belonging to him, and many nations with thee. Be thou prepared, prepare thyself, thou and all thy multitude that is assembled with thee, and thou shalt be made to me for a guard. He shall be prepared after many days, and he shall come at the end of years, and shall come to a land that is brought back from the sword, when the people are gathered from many nations against the land of Israel, which was entirely desolate. And he is come forth out of the nations, and they shall all dwell securely. And thou shalt go up as rain, and shalt arrive as a cloud to cover the land. And there shall be thou, and all that are about thee, and many nations with thee. Thus saith the Lord God, It shall also come to pass in that day, that thoughts shall come up into thine heart, and thou shalt devise evil devices. And thou shalt say, I will go up to the rejected land. I will come upon them that are at ease in tranquility, and dwelling in peace, all inhabiting a land in which there is no wall, nor bars, nor have they doors, to seize the plunder, and to take their spoil, to turn my hand against the desolate land that is now inhabited, and against the nation that is gathered from many nations, that have acquired property, dwelling in the midst of the land. Saba and Dedan, and Carthaginian merchants, and all their villages shall say to thee, Thou art come for plunder, to take a prey, and to get spoils. Thou hast gathered thy multitude to take silver and gold, to carry off property, to take spoils. Therefore prophesy, son of man, and say to Gog, Thus saith the Lord, Wilt thou not arise in that day, when my people Israel are dwelling securely, and come out of thy place from the farthest north, and many nations with thee, all of them mounted on horses, a great gathering, and a large force? And thou shalt come upon my people Israel as a cloud to cover the land. It shall come to pass in the last days that I will bring thee up upon my land, that all the nations may know me, when I am sanctified in thee before them. Thus saith the Lord God to Gog, Thou art he concerning whom I spoke in former times, by the hand of my servants the prophets of Israel, in those days and years that I would bring thee up against them. And it shall come to pass in that day, in the day when Gog shall come against the land of Israel, saith the Lord God, that my wrath and my jealousy shall arise. I have spoken in the fire of mine anger. Verily, in that day there shall be a great shaking in the land of Israel, and the fish of the sea shall quake at the presence of the Lord, and the birds of the sky, and the wild beasts of the field, and all the reptiles that creep upon the earth, and all the men that are on the face of the earth, and the mountain shall be rent, and the valley shall fall, and every wall on the land shall fall. And I will summon against it even every fear, saith the Lord. The sword of every man shall be against his brother, and I will judge him with pestilence and blood, and sweeping rain, and hailstones. And I will rain upon him fire and brimstone, and upon all that are with him, and upon many nations with him. And I will be magnified and sanctified and glorified, and I will be known in the presence of many nations, and they shall know that I am the Lord. And thou, son of man, prophesy against Gog, and say, Thus saith the Lord, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, Rose, prince of Mesach and Thobal, and I will assemble thee, and guide thee, and raise thee up on the extremity of the north, and I will bring thee upon the mountains of Israel. And I will destroy thy bow out of thy left hand, and thine arrows out of thy right hand, and I will cast thee down on the mountains of Israel. And thou and all that belong to thee shall fall, and the nations that are with thee shall be given to the multitudes of birds, even to every fowl, and I have given thee to all the wild beasts of the field to be devoured. Thou shalt fall on the face of the field, for I have spoken it, saith the Lord. And I will send a fire upon Gog, and the island shall be securely inhabited, and they shall know that I am the Lord. And my holy name shall be known in the midst of my people Israel, and my holy name shall no more be profaned, and the nation shall know that I am the Lord, the Holy One in Israel. Behold, it is come, and thou shalt know that it shall be, saith the Lord God. This is the day concerning which I have spoken. And they that inhabit the cities of Israel shall come forth, and make a fire with the arms, the shields, and spears, and bows and arrows, and handstaves, and lances, and they shall keep fire burning with them for 7 years. They shall not take any wood out of the field, neither shall they cut any out of the forest, but they shall burn the weapons with fire, and they shall plunder those that plundered them, and spoil those that spoiled them, saith the Lord. And it shall come to pass that in that day I will give to Gog a place of renown, a tomb in Israel, the burial place of them that approach the sea. And they shall build round about the outlet of the valley, and there they shall bury Gog and all his multitude. And the place shall then be called the burial place of Gog, and the house of Israel shall bury them, that the land may be cleansed in the space of 7 months. Yea, all the people of the land shall bury them, and it shall be to them a place of renown in the day wherein it was glorified, saith the Lord. And they shall appoint men continually to go over the land, to bury them that have been left on the face of the earth, to cleanse it after the space of 7 months, and they shall seek them out. And every one that goes through the land, and sees a man's bone, shall set up a mark by it, until the burier shall have buried it in the valley, the burial place of Gog. For the name of the city shall be burial place, so shall the land be cleansed. And thou, son of man, say, Thus saith the Lord, say to every winged bird, and to all wild beasts of the field, Gather yourselves and come, gather yourselves from all places round about to my sacrifice, which I have made for you, even a great sacrifice on the mountains of Israel. And ye shall eat flesh, and drink blood. Ye shall eat the flesh of mighty men, and ye shall drink the blood of the princes of the earth, rams and calves and goats, and they are all fatted calves. And ye shall eat fat till ye are full, and shall drink wine till ye are drunken, of my sacrifice which I have prepared for you. And ye shall be filled at my table, eating horse and rider, and mighty man, and every warrior, saith the Lord. And I will set my glory among you, and all the nations shall see my judgment which I have wrought, and my hand which I have brought upon them. And the house of Israel shall know that I am the Lord their God, from this day and onwards. And all the nations shall know that the house of Israel were led captive because of their sins, because they rebelled against me, and I turned away my face from them, and delivered them into the hands of their enemies, and they all fell by the sword. According to their uncleanness and according to their transgressions did I deal with them, and turned away my face from them. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, Now will I turn back captivity in Jacob, and will have mercy on the house of Israel, and will be jealous for the sake of my holy name. And they shall bear the reproach, and the iniquity which they committed, when they dwelt upon their land in peace. Yet there shall be none to terrify them, when I have brought them back from the nations, and gathered them out of the countries of the nations. And I will be sanctified among them in the presence of the nations. And they shall know that I am the Lord their God, when I have been manifested to them among the nations. And I will no more turn away my face from them, because I have poured out my wrath upon the house of Israel, saith the Lord God. And it came to pass in the 25th year of our captivity, in the 1st month, on the 10th day of the month, in the 14th year after the taking of the city, in that day the hand of the Lord was upon me, and brought me in a vision of God into the land of Israel, and set me on a very high mountain. And upon it there was, as it were, the frame of a city before me. And he brought me in thither, and behold, there was a man, and the appearance of him was as the appearance of shining brass. And in his hand was a builder's line, and a measuring reed. And he stood at the gate. And the man said to me, Look with thine eyes at him whom thou hast seen, son of man, and hear with thine ears, and lay up in thine heart all things that I show thee. For thou hast come in hither, that I might show thee, and thou shalt show all things that thou seest to the house of Israel. And behold, a wall round about the house without, and in the man's hand a reed. The measure of it was 6 cubits by the cubit, and a span. And he measured across the front wall. The breadth was equal to the reed, and the length of it equal to the reed. And he entered by 7 steps into the gate that looks eastward. And he measured across the porch of the gate equal to the reed. And the chamber was equal in length to the reed, and equal in breadth to the reed. And the porch between the chambers 6 cubits. And the second chamber equal in breadth to the reed, and equal in length to the reed. And the porch 5 cubits. And the third chamber equal in length to the reed, and equal in breadth to the reed. And the porch of the gateway, near the porch of the gate, 8 cubits. And the posts thereof 2 cubits. And the porch of the gate was inward. And the chambers of the gate of the chamber in front were 3 on one side, and 3 on the other. There was one measure to the 3. There was one measure to the porches on this side and on that. And he measured the breadth of the door of the gateway, 10 cubits, and the breadth of the gateway, 13 cubits. And the space before the chambers was narrow to a cubit in front of the chambers, on this side and on that side. The chamber was 6 cubits this way, and 6 cubits that way. And he measured the gate from the wall of one chamber to the wall of the other chamber. The breadth was 25 cubits, the one gate over against the other gate. And the open space of the porch of the gate was 20 cubits to the chambers round about the gate, and the open space of the gate without the open space of the porch of the gate within was 50 cubits. And there were secret windows to the chambers, and to the porches within the gate of the court round about, and in the same manner windows to the porches round about within. And on the porch there were palm trees on this side and on that side. And he brought me into the inner court, and behold, there were chambers and peristyles round about the court, 30 chambers within the ranges of columns, and the porticos were behind gates. According to the length of the gates was the lower peristyle. He measured the breadth of the court, from the open space of the outer gate inwards to the open space of the gate looking outwards. 100 cubits was the distance to the place of the gate looking eastward. He brought me to the north. Behold, a gate looking northwards belonging to the outer court. He measured it, both the length of it and the breadth, and the chambers, 3 on this side and 3 on that, and the posts, and the porches, and the palm trees thereof. And they were according to the measures of the gate that looks eastward. The length thereof was 50 cubits, and the breadth thereof was 25 cubits. And its windows and its porches and its palm trees were according to the dimensions of the gate looking eastward, and they went up to it by 7 steps, and the porches were within. And there was a gate to the inner court looking toward the north gate, after the manner of the gate looking toward the east. And he measured the court from gate to gate, 100 cubits. The Revelation of St. John the Theologian, chapter 10. I saw another mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow was upon his head, and his face was as it were the sun, and his feet as pillars of fire. And he had in his hand a little book open, and he set his right foot upon the sea, and his left foot on the earth, and cried with a loud voice, as when a lion roareth. And when he had cried, 7 thunders uttered their voices. And when the 7 thunders had uttered their voices, I was about to write, and I heard a voice from heaven, saying unto me, Seal up those things which the 7 thunders uttered, and write them not. And the angel which I saw stand upon the sea and upon the earth lifted up his hand to heaven, and sware by him that liveth for ever and ever, who created heaven and the things that are therein, and the earth and the things that therein are, and the sea and the things which are therein, that there should be time no longer. But in the days of the voice of the 7th angel, when he shall begin to sound, the mystery of God shall be finished, as he hath declared to his servants the prophets. And the voice which I heard from heaven spake unto me again, and said, Go and take the little book which is open in the hand of the angel which standeth upon the sea and upon the earth. And I went unto the angel, and said unto him, Give me the little book. He said unto me, Take it, and eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. And I took the little book out of the angel's hand, and ate it up, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey. And as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. And he said unto me, Thou must prophesy again before many peoples, and nations, and tongues, and kings.